So we are going to continue our journey around the mandala of the 5 female archetypal Buddhas. So we've been to the east to the realm of Lochana, the eye, whose wisdom is the mirror-like wisdom, and then we travelled south to the realm of Malaki, the golden female Buddha of the south. And this evening we're going to be travelling to the western quarter, to the realm of the setting sun, with its red colour and its richness of red. And you can see there's lots of red on the shrine. So red is a theme, is a prominent theme. But before we do any of that, we're just going to sit for a couple of minutes, and then Bethany will be very pleased to hear that I'm going to read a poem. And others of you may also be pleased that I'm going to read a poem. So it's always good just to settle, I think, at the beginning of an evening, when we may have come in from busy days, rushing around, and then arriving in this place. So let's just take a couple of minutes to turn inwards and to tune in to ourselves. So if our minds are busy, bringing awareness away from the thinking mind, down into the body, down to the anchor points. So feeling our connection with the earth beneath. So allowing the attention to rest there and seeing if the mind will begin to settle and clarify a little bit, or it will at least become more aware of its busyness. Just allowing awareness to expand upwards into the rest of the body. Just getting a good sense of ourselves sitting here, being embodied in this place with its atmosphere, with our brothers and sisters in the Sangha. We might want just to bring the awareness gently to the breathing, or allow it to rest in the heart space, or both. And just checking in with our general mood, our emotional landscape, with a gentle and curious awareness. And this is called amo ergo sum, which those Latin scholars among you will know means I love, therefore I am, by Kathleen Rain. Because I love, the sun pours out its rays of living gold, pours out its gold and silver on the sea. Because I love, the earth upon her astral spindle winds her ecstasy-producing dance. Because I love, Clouds travel on the winds through wide skies, skies wide and beautiful, blue and deep. Because I love, wind blows white sails. The wind blows over flowers, the sweet wind blows. Because I love, the ferns grow green, and green the grass, and green the transparent sunlit trees. Because I love, larks rise up from the grass, and all the leaves are full of singing birds. Because I love, the iridescent shells upon the sand take forms as fine and intricate as thought. Because I love, the summer air quivers with 1,000 wings. Myriads of jeweled eyes burn in the light. Because I love, there is an invisible way across the sky. Birds travel by that way, the sun and moon, and all the stars travel that path by night. Because I love, there is a river flowing all night long. Because I love, all night the river flows into my sleep. 10,000 living things are sleeping in my arms, and sleeping wake, and flowing are at rest. So why I chose that particular poem hopefully may be revealed. So what I'm going to do is, talk through, as it were, the qualities and sort of emblems and what's the word? Well, equipment isn't the word. Well, the qualities and the sort of the figure of Pandaravasini herself, and say some stuff about that. And we'll also a bit later on, if there's time, have a little bit more of an evocation. So drawn from what Vasantra writes about her in his book on the female Buddhas. So, her name, Pandaravasini, well, it means the white-robed one. So you can see from this picture, perhaps not, well, you can see, perhaps not completely distinctly, that she is wearing a white garment, a white robe, although she's essentially red in colour. Yeah? And she's red like the setting sun. So the setting sun is kind of warm and sort of soft and approachable. Yeah, but at the same time, Vasanta reminds us that. Sorry, could you put it on the screen? Sorry, Alan. Yes. Sorry, Zoomies. Here we go. There we go. Yeah. So yes. So she's associated with the Western realm, with the setting sun. As I say, the setting sun is sort of, it's a period of soft light, of warm, approachable light. But as the Santra points out, the sun, you have to beware of approaching too close to the sun, because it can still burn you. It's still a star with colossal power and heat. And he draws out the theme of craving in regard to that. So the sun can warm us like love, but it can also burn us and harm us like the fire and passion of craving. So there's a sort of a two-pronged kind of significance to the red colour of Pandaravasini and her realm. I'll come back to that whole theme in a minute. So she's red in colour, so red, the colour of love, as is Amitabha, the male equivalent Buddha. But she's clad in this white robe. Now, a white garment or a white robe features somewhere else in the Buddhist tradition, in at least one other place. And I'm wondering if anyone can remember where it appears as an image. Trish, yeah?
The arm is those similes, isn't it?
Yes, it's one of the similes for the dhyanas, that's right. For those super conscious, super absorbed meditative states. Do you remember what it sort of symbolises, Trish, at all? Or anyone else?
Not the first or second. No.
It's a symbol. It's actually a symbol for the fourth dhyana And what it is, so the image is of someone who has taken a cold bath on a very hot day, and then sort of wraps themselves completely in a clean white cloth, so that they're sort of fully protected, fully insulated from the dirt of the day and the glare of the sun. So there's a strong kind of idea of association with purity and protection. And so with Pandaravasini, you get that sense that the power of her love sort of protects her completely and fully from any negative, any unskillful influence, which is quite an interesting sort of relationship in itself. So the extent to which we are capable of loving protects us from malign influences. Yeah? So the extent to which we are capable of loving fully, within the full kind of meaning of the term, can protect us from malign influences. That's quite an interesting aspect of Pandaravasini. So she's protected by her, as it were, transcendental love for all beings. She is sitting in full lotus, as they often are, on a red lotus, so fully grounded in the transcendental, fully grounded in reality. And she holds her hands in this mudra, which is quite familiar to us, because it's a mudra that a lot of us adopt, when we're saluting the shrine or performing a puja. But I wonder how many of you know what this sort of mudra actually represents. There's a certain symbolism to it. It's not just the hands raised in prayer. Does anyone care to share their knowledge? If anyone knows what this mudra, which is called the Anjali mudra, actually represents? Yeah, Simon's saying it's a lotus. That's right. So your hands are sort of cupped, as it were, like a lotus. That's it. Yeah. And then what about the thumbs?
Yeah, the jewel lotus.
That's right. So the thumbs are the sort of representation of the, as it were, of the jewel in the lotus. Yeah. So that jewel, well, maybe that jewel could be taken to be the beauty and the sort of beauty and preciousness of awakening, of enlightenment itself. Yeah. So Pandaravasini is holding to her heart the most precious thing, if you like, which is the jewel of awakening. So that's something to reflect on when we are doing that, when we adopt this mudra. But it's not like that. It's not sort of like a prayer gesture as such. It's a sort of recognition that we are holding close to our heart that thing which is of most value. So again, so devotion is very strongly associated with Pandaravasini too. Yeah. So when something is precious to you, you hold it to your heart. Like if you had a child or a loved one, you hold them to your heart, don't you? This is where you hold the things which are most precious to you. So she has this gesture that she makes. And from her hands are holding the stems of two lotuses. And on one of the lotuses is, of course, the Vajrabel, which is a common symbol to all of the prajnas, which, as we've established over the weeks, is a symbol of transcendental wisdom. Yeah. And on the other lotus, there's another symbol, which is it's a vase. It's a vase which is supposed to contain the nectar of immortality. So another very strong symbol. Mo's saying you can't see what. You can't see me, Mo. You can't see the figure. Well, I wasn't doing. I was just demonstrating the Anjali mudras with Mo. So you weren't missing a great deal. Yeah. Yeah, so the other lotus, the lotus which is on her right shoulder, the red lotus, contains a vase of immortality. And that's a reference, as the Sutra says, to the true immortality, the true freedom from death that is conferred on us by awakening. So again, it's a symbol of awakening, of that state of the deathless, which the scriptures say that we can attain. Yeah, again, so quite a powerful symbol. And other than that, she is clad in the sort of the rich silks and the beautiful clothing the Buddha, the archetypal Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, with the crown, with the colours of the 5 jhanas. And in front of her, her top knot sits the small figure of Amitabha, who is the male equivalent. Again, the Buddha very much associated with love, with the Western Quarter, with meditation, who sits in meditation. So that's the sort of the kind of figure itself. And